Hey everybody, it is Jillian. So, wow, it's interesting how the focus that I'm on in my book around human sacrifice, because that's actually the part that I'm on, is about human sacrifice. And it's not just what you see in the movies, like throwing someone in a volcano or putting someone on an altar like Indiana Jones. Human sacrifice is in the form of the medical, holistic, energy healing world. And so this is, and it's in actually politics, religion, and science. I'm telling you, all politics, all religion, and all science is a type of human sacrifice because it's about using your biochemistry to attract people and siphon the energy from them little by little without them really detecting it. And then they are also happily giving you all of their energy without any asking anything in return. And so I'm looking at the Greek gods, that the Greek gods and demigods. Now, I really have not, I've never really understood gods and demigods from the standpoint of humanity, but now I see humans are actually exactly the representation that's in Greek mythology because the Greek gods and demigods are based upon your biochemistry. They're based upon manipulating parts of your biochemistry and then feeding you a story using your specific hormones. And the stories or allegories are in politics, religion, and science. And yes, the 17 influential families who have given you an amazing society to work from have used that to their advantage. And so right now we are seeing an awakening in our world. I mean, I see it now. I finally broke the spell of a lot of the gods and demigods that cursed me or cast spells on me. And then I also run up against so many types that are exemplifying exactly what a demigod or a demagogue, as well as a god, would do if given the power. And what is this power? It's your biochemistry. Your biochemistry has so much power, people don't even realize to what extent they have the power within their biochemistry. And that power is being controlled through, yes, pharmaceuticals. Yes, they also bioengineer you to be amazing and be very intellectual, to have the skills that you have, but it's also a double-edged sword. They also know how to control your energy and to potentially, if you allow them, to exploit your gifts. And so this chapter about human sacrifice is going to basically be an expose on the holistic energy healing world, all the politics, when you think about it, the religions, I don't care what religion, all religions, and yes, the science world. Okay? And so, yes, those that are using the word God or have a million names for God, the word God is a way to make you feel that you have no power, that you give your power away. And it also, using the word God and trying to play God and be God, is where you are hiding your true intentions. You're using your biochemistry and relying on your biochemistry to siphon as much energy from your surroundings without truly giving back. And so I have experienced it. And lately, actually, I've released two people from my group who exemplified the behaviors that I've had so much conflict with. And the energy healing world is so rife with these types of personality types because where it comes from, and this is my hypothesis, is those that have practiced so much of the LSD, ayahuasca, whatever, they go to these retreats and they do the meditations and the drum circles, or they're very heavily into their religion. There is a specific personality type that is run by a biochemistry that gives them a way to hypnotize their targets. And I believe I've been hypnotized by so many different people. And then I wake up and realize, after being put through an emotional freaking grinding machine, that I'm like, oh my God, why am I so exhausted after dealing with this person? And so it's quite interesting. And so let's look up what demagoguery is and what we know. What a demigod. A demigod is someone that has divine gifts, or they have been divinitated, whatever, divined after death. But what does after death mean? Well, when you're in a state of a death trajectory, you're kind of like a demigod of death because you follow two types of laws, life or death. And so if you are promoting something in any type of belief system or medical holistic type of system, then yeah, you are a demigod, god of death. But demigods can be mortal and they can be immortal, which I didn't realize, which I didn't. I'm like, well, why would a demigod be mortal? What is that? And I understand that that the gods mated with the humans that were here on this planet. But then I'm like, well, then we have demigods on this planet that have divine potential, that are mortal, and they're selling something. Now, there's more than just the god of death and god of life, but that really kind of spans it all. Do you have to say the god of muscles and the god of sex and the god of pounding the gavel and the god of this? No, I mean, when you look at god of life and god of death, that should tell you everything. God of death, everything in between life and death and all the biochemistry and the unbalanced hormones represents death. Do I have to itemize and line item every single aspect of when someone goes down a death trajectory? Not really. You can see it in our society. Just look at everyone around you that's on a death trajectory. They're bringing up hormones that are their strengths and their predispositions, and they're banking on it to get them through and hope that people buy what they have to sell. Okay? And so, and so when you look at immortality, which is basically there's no reason to atone for anything. There's no reason to even look at God as anything, because when you're immortal, when you think about it, you're not making any mistakes. There's nothing to atone for. You're not sinning in any way. And you're just living your life. You're following all the laws of life. And so then why would you need God or Jesus or Christianity or whatever religion that you hold dear to you? Why would you need that if you actually hold the power of your own life? There is no reason to give away your power to somebody else if you hold the power, right? And so demagoguery, which is Riff in the energy healing, politics, religion, and sciences, political activity or practice that seeks support by appealing to the desires and prejudices of ordinary people rather than by using rational arguments. The demagoguery of political opportunists, the demagoguery of healing opportunists, the demagoguery of the energy healing allopathic opportunists, and energy siphoning comes in many different forms. Okay? And it comes in the marketing, it comes in the, reading, writing, all that stuff, journalism, the religion, politics. I mean, it's so everywhere that I'm like, oh my God, our whole society is built upon demagoguery. And that's what the crazy thing is. It's like, once I go down this rabbit hole, everything else is connected. Then all of a sudden you see how society is, the foundation of our society is based upon this. But it doesn't have to be, because immortality and indefinite life is not some magical unicorn thing that you ride on a marshmallow cloud. Immortality takes responsibility. It takes priority. It takes being held accountable for how you maintain bringing food into your belly and releasing the excess and dealing with your symptoms when there's a new virus in the environment. It's not like, you're just some god sitting on a couch with a scepter, doing stuff. No, you're just a regular person who understands how to use the elements of the earth and put everything together to maintain your existence. And then you're not trying to convert anybody. You give people the option, okay? And if you don't, and you're in the healing energy world, then you're the demigod or god of death. Okay, fine. Own it. Don't try to paint it as something other than what it is. And so the demigods in our society are those that live from a predominant hormone based upon predispositions, and then intentionally bringing up hormones through drugs, sex, and alcohol, as well as ayahuasca, which is drugs. And some will exemplify the hormones in arts and entertainment, and others will go into medical holistic industry, finding ways to harvest and extract energy away from their clients. And so anyone that goes into the medical as well as the holistic world are getting double taken from. Not only is there money being extracted from their bank account for paying for these services, but their energy and their life force is being extracted by those in the industry who's selling you that antibiotics are life. And so, yes, if you are in the medical industry, I don't care what it is, whether you're a janitor or a CNA, you're supporting the demagoguery of human sacrifice. And so that's why there's a lot of hypocrisy in politics, religion, and science. Okay, and so that's why I say, if you practice the politics, religion, and science, and then you're trying to sell immortality, you're going to come off so not credible. You'll lose your credibility. And that's what I said to people in the beginning a couple, years ago. I'm going to have you question every single freaking belief system you've ever held, whether it's your religion, whether it's your political belief systems, and whether it is your scientific belief systems. And yeah, you can reject it, and that's fine. I mean, and you can still, and you have the choice to be the God in your world of life, or the God of death, or the demigod of life, or the demigod of death. But it really comes down to two absolutes, life and death. There is nothing else, life or death. You follow the laws of life, or do you follow the laws of death? You have the ability to build somebody up, and you have the ability to break somebody down. And how are you going to use your power? And that's what it comes down to. And so then and then the people get really, and then I get so many I get responses from those that really do exemplify exactly what I'm talking about. And so when I do trigger somebody, I know they exemplify exactly what I'm dealing with. And so then I bring to surface those that are not exactly upfront in their intentions. Though, do they do it on purpose? I think they kind of know what they're doing, but then also too, people are so used to operating at a specific level because they get so many great reviews that they just automatically do it because they're so used to somebody just buying what they have to sell. Until someone like me is like, hey, I'm not falling under your hypnotic spell of your politics, your religion, or your science. That's great. You have your belief system. More power to you. Go do it in your world. It ain't part of my world or in my group or anywhere in my vicinity. Okay? And then, yes, I get the passive aggressiveness. And so what I see is in personality types that do gravitate towards a holistic energy healing world is the fact that, yes, passive aggressiveness, throwing my words back in my face, always coming from a point of just like you can feel the angst. And you can feel like I'm a victim, help me, help me, help me, but not actually saying you're a victim. But you see that they're doing this all the time. And that's how they're able to make you feel like you're calling them out is inappropriate. And you're just like, oh my God, I'm being manipulated. Like, oh my Lord. And I say that. And that's when I did then differentiate between philosophy and law. Philosophy is how you think things should be based upon your perception. And then there's the laws of biology. And that's what I'm really going by is the laws of biology. Because laws, you just can't dispute the laws. There's the laws of the cells are thermodynamics. Okay? The law of life is you don't apply antibiotics to a body that's trying to freaking live. And then there's a philosophy. Well, I think people should die. I think people should have their hormones all plucked, and you should take your ayahuasca and go to your church and pound the gavel and do this. And that's philosophy. And philosophy is everyone is a philosopher out there. Everyone has their perception of what things should be. And then but people who are philosophers really don't understand the laws. And so they live in this idealistic philosophical world. And then it comes out in their biochemistry. And then then I said the trinity of spells are basically hormones, words, and drugs. Okay? Because your hormones run you, and you have a predominant hormone that's at the surface. And it could be serotonin, it could be dopamine, it could be adrenaline, it could be, I don't know, other hormones. And then your words then will basically come from your hormones. And then you're going to be doing drugs to keep bringing that hormone up. Or you'll avoid foods, or you'll, whatever. Or you'll surround yourself by people who have the same type of serotonin, dopamine, personality type. And then you all feed off each other. And then that's, yes, the groups that are so active and they're constantly just emoting, and they feed off each other. And that is in the activist world. And that is in politics, religion, science, because how those industries and those belief systems stay alive is the fact that they need the energy from the people who are emoting. And go look in the groups, go look in the political groups. You see how much energy they're emoting and giving away and siphoning off of each other? Go look in the religious groups and how they're pounding the gavel and judging people and calling out this and calling out that and whatever. Okay? And then go look in the science groups. Oh, they should get a vaccine or they should not get a vaccine. And then here I am going like, holy crap. I'm trying to write a book and I'm extracting energy, but I'm also giving back. You know how I'm giving back? So I'm saying, hey, here is a J juice. Do it. I'm going to put energy out there. It's up to you to take it or leave it. You can unfollow me if I'm too much. But the J juice and the food supply will give back everything that was ever taken from you, whether knowingly or unknowingly. Hey, Sonia, you're welcome. Okay? And you have the power in your life to bring back the biochemistry that someone messed with or blocked or stolen from you that you didn't even know they stole from you. Okay? And here's the thing. I don't care if you buy my book. I'm going to write a book based upon what I believe, what I need to articulate based upon my experiences, whether it's my childhood or with people in the world that have attacked the crap out of me, and I need an outlet. I need a way to basically just get everything that I ever had to need to get out on paper and call out everyone that's being deceptive in their intentions and let the chips fall where they may. And you buy the book, great. If you don't, I don't really care. You have the J juice. That is what's for free, is giving back your life. My perception of the world, you can buy or not buy. And that is really how you can make money, is when you're not so focused on extracting energy from people. And then, at all costs, no matter if it's good for them or bad for them. And that's why I say, if you're partaking in the energy holistic healing world and you still have loyalties to them and you're not willing to call out your friends, like I tagged somebody by thanking them for some insight about the microbiome. And then one of their friends went on there and was a total gavel pushing activist. Oh, the GMO and the vaccines and this and that and everyone, they're killing you with this. And then guess what the chick did? When I was thanking her for some insight about the microbiome, she liked that comment. Okay, or she loved that comment. She offered no other perspective, like maybe it's not as bad as you think. Maybe you have the ability to convert all the energy that's out there, whether it's in the GMO, which is no big deal. It's just taking different properties and putting them together, no different than making a paper that's white, red, black, and blue. I mean, come on. And so she offered no other perspective but to allow this person to just spew on my wall, even though, I tagged her in it. But she offered no other perspective to defend where I'm coming from. But yes, she's so new at this, but she's more in philosophy. But then she's like, well, you have to allow that not every apprentice becomes a master in philosophy. And that's another empath hypnotic way of passive aggressive making you feel bad for calling them out on the hypocrisy. And that's what I've dealt with that with people that were next to me. I've dealt with that people that were new people, with people that have been I've been exposed to so many types of people. I can call out the personality types because guess what? Biochemistry is unmistakable. Just look at how someone behaves, what they write, what they say, what they do. You know exactly what runs them. And then what their interests are. You look at their Facebook and you see all their different groups. You know exactly what their proclivities are. You know exactly their belief systems. You know exactly where they're coming from. And when you know where they're coming from and they say one thing and then they're all, defending and doing, you're like, dude, you're speaking out of both sides of your mouth. Where's the alignment? If you're a licensed health professional and you're doing J juice, you're speaking out of both sides of your mouth. If you are wanting to revere a God, something that is intangible, that has nothing to it except for a belief system, giving your power away to someone or something, and then you want to speak about immortality? Well, God doesn't believe in immortality because you can't even reach him. God is left to interpretation. And then the whole thing with the Freemasons. What does the G stand for? Yeah, geometry, because it's the compass. Grand design. and God. Oh, they covered all the bases. How freaking convenient, the Freemasons. They covered the religion, the politics, and the science. And then I'm going to expose the Vatican. Yeah, the Vatican, I mean, they use the word God and they prop up, Jesus and all that stuff. Wait, more power to them. That's fine. And then the cross, the way they do the cross thing, it's upside down. So they are honoring both sides of the duality, yes. But guess what? It is a trinity. Someone's pulled the strings to keep people at each other's throats. And so if you don't rise above the duality conflicts that are going on, all the different wars that are out there in politics and religion and science, you'll be a puppet for someone to extract energy from. Your reactions is their currency. And so I have to be able to write this, and it's so interesting that while I'm writing about human sacrifice in my book, and then I have these two people who exemplify exactly what I've been dealing with for the last freaking 4 years, and then they come to surface because I'm writing about like, hey, if you hold a license in any kind of holistic energy healing world, you're the god of death. Oh God, you can't. I mean, it made this person freaking spin on a dime. I fish. Yeah, it's a type of fishing for me. I do fish. And your reaction tells me everything exactly that you exemplify what I'm talking about. And I allowed this, and you can read the comments, but I gave the person the benefit of the doubt. Said, hey, whatever the case may be, whatever. And then she still had to keep going on. It's like, what the heck? I was going to let it go. I wasn't going to but then when they keep trying to justify, and they keep retorting back, and they retort back with, backhanded compliments or backhanded throwing my words in my face. Yeah, you don't get it, and you're just trying to have a last say. I know I have it, but hey, this is my group. This is my protocol. You're on my world. I'm not in your world. I'm not posting in your world. I'm not going on your page, but you're in my world. So I'm going to have the last say. And if you think you're going to have the last say, okay, it will be the last say. And I'm not trying to be difficult. And I do give people every ounce. I give people every opportunity to just let it go. Stop debating me. Stop trying to convert me. But when someone has that predominant biochemistry that is so strong that even jelly juice right now can't even penetrate, they're looking to siphon energy. And that means that they really are that needy that they have really nothing to give to the group. And if you have nothing to give to the group, don't take from people either. And so when I have to go back and forth with people on such a level, answering all their questions and debate and clarify, and oh my God, that's exhausting. That is exhausting. When you're not even aware of how you write or what you write, and then you justify and you rationalize, and I'm just like, okay, I'm done. If you don't know enough to just be quiet, if you really don't know what you're saying, or if you're triggering me, oh, but you're triggered, that's your problem. Yeah, it is my problem. Well, I'll just get rid of the problem here. Okay, problem solved. You're done. You're gone. Do I have to deal with everybody in the world? No. I have boundaries. I don't want to deal with everybody in my community. Some people have unbalanced energy. Some people are dangerous. So I'm going to put down my boundaries. I don't have to deal with you or anyone else that wants to mess with me. And that's what it comes down to, is boundaries. And so human sacrifice is when people don't know their boundaries and they allow someone to take from them, and they take from other people. Because when you allow someone to take from you, you're going to take from somebody else, because that's what you've been taught. And that does get passed down in generations of families. And so, yes, there are 17 influential families that have given to our society, and they're also taking from our society. It's a balance. It's the yin and yang. Doesn't mean you have to, promote that and have that be like, okay, it's okay. It's just understanding for what it is and sidestepping that. That's all. I don't denigrate the 17 influential families. No, they've given us everything that we have. They've given us the platform. They've given us the science, the foundation of terms and concepts, so we can go do our own research and make our own decisions and stand by them and own them. But some people won't own who they are. They won't own their intentions. And then the manipulation. And yeah, they haven't been on the J-Juice long enough, but even if you're on the J-Juice long enough, know when to shut up. I've learned not to really try to convert people on other pages. Some people I will like some people like I don't really care my relationship with them and they just annoy the hell out of me and I see them on my Facebook and they're not really giving me anything and I don't really see anything, that I feel that there's any kind of like substance. And I can go and get to know them, but I'll be like, dude, and say something and then listen, see what they say back. And I don't do that very often. I don't try to sacrifice people too often, but sometimes, I just get so annoyed with something in my news feed and then I usually now I unfollow. I don't really try to go and engage and trigger them. But I think in a couple weeks ago or a couple of months ago, I was more in that line of thought. But I have no reason to sacrifice anyone, really. But I mean, I also, because that's what you do when you intentionally go and trigger somebody, it's like a human sacrifice because you're siphoning energy. When someone comes after you, they're trying to sacrifice you in some way, whether it's directly or indirectly or, through deception. And so, it'll become easier as you do JJs to recognize those types of personality types and to sidestep it. It's not easy when you're not in the JJs. It's not easy. And there's a lot of very hypnotic, charismatic biochemistries out there that will tractor beam you into their world. But I recognize them in my group. There's a few that I called them out as soon as I saw it. I was like, oh my God, this is a charismatic. And then I give them the benefit of the doubt, but then I realize what exactly, and I call them out on it. And they're just like, they don't know what to say, except like, oh, you're crazy. I'm sure they don't really say that, but, they find a way to make it seem like I'm the crazy one, but that's okay. And so there's a reason why I react the way I do. I can't always articulate, but my gut knows. But now I've been on the JJs for a while and I've, cleared a lot of crap, I'm able to articulate what my gut is saying using words. And so I don't always react, in such a crazy way like I did. If you go back to my old videos, you can see me just emoting because I didn't know how to articulate what exactly I was feeling, but I knew something was wrong. I just didn't know what it was. Now, through a lot of experience and a lot of research, I can articulate exactly why I have a reaction to certain people. And there's a reasoning behind it. And now you know what it too. And I want to give that to the world so people recognize the demigods and the gods out there that will siphon and take your energy without you even knowing it. And a lesser person wouldn't know it and they will be bled to death. So anyways, I'm going to go, but I just wanted to put that out there. And this is going in my book on some level. I'm not putting any names in my book, but if you do see this type of stuff in my book, you'll know where it came from. This is the raw material. All right, bye.